Not so long ago, my Korean husband threw me out in the rain after calling me ugly. He took my daughters. He tried to erase me. But a stranger, another Korean man, appeared when I had nothing. Han Daewon, a billionaire CEO who'd been watching from the shadows for 4 years. He gave me a hotel room, a lawyer, a job, hope. But now, standing outside this courtroom, I realize the real battle is just beginning. Because winning custody means facing my past, confronting the mother who never believed in me, and deciding if I can trust a man who claims he's been waiting for me since we met for 20 minutes 4 years ago. Is he my savior or my next mistake? Either way, today everything changes. Let's finish this. Chapter 1. The courthouse steps felt like standing at the edge of a cliff. Monday morning. 9 a.m. Everything I'd fought for in the past 3 weeks came down to the next few hours. I stood there in the burnt orange dress Daewon had bought me in Seoul. The one that made my brown skin glow. The one that made me feel like I could be someone other than the broken woman Theo had created. My natural curls were styled perfectly, bouncing with each nervous breath. The girl's lawyer, Erica Vondra, had told me, "Look powerful. Look like a woman who deserves her children." I was trying. Beside me, Daewon adjusted his tie for the 3rd time. He'd been quiet during the car ride over, his jaw tight with tension I'd never seen before. We'd spent the night going over strategy with Erica, reviewing Veronique's videos, preparing for every possible attack Theo's lawyer might launch. But nothing could have prepared me for the knot of anxiety currently choking me. "Breathe," Daewon said quietly, his hand finding the small of my back. "Just breathe." I tried, failed, tried again. What if it's not enough? The words tumbled out before I could stop them. The videos, the evidence, all of it. What if Judge Morrison looks at me and sees exactly what Theo wants him to see? An unstable black woman who ran to the first man who'd have her? Daewon turned me to face him, hands on my shoulders. We were standing on a public courthouse steps, with press already gathering. But he didn't seem to care. "Look at me," he said. "Really look at me." I did. His dark eyes were intense, focused completely on me. "You are not unstable. You are not lucky to be chosen. You are not less than." Each word was deliberate, firm. "You are a mother fighting for her children. You are a designer who created something beautiful from nothing. You are a woman who refused to stay down when someone tried to destroy her. That's who Judge Morrison is going to see. Because that's who you are." I could feel my eyes become glossy with tears. "And if he doesn't? Then the system is broken, but you're not." He squeezed my shoulders gently. "Now come on, let's go win this." We walked through the courthouse doors into chaos. Press was everywhere despite the family court restrictions. Cameras, microphones, shouted questions blending into white noise. Erica appeared like a shark cutting through water, her platinum blonde hair severe, her expression all business. "They're already inside," she said without preamble. "Theo, his lawyer David Grayson, Theo's mother with the girls. Judge Morrison wants to start promptly at 9. "The girls are here?" My heart lurched. "Margaret Park brought them. They're in the waiting room with a court advocate." Erica's expression softened slightly. "You'll see them after, regardless of outcome. I made sure of that." Small comfort, but I'd take it. We entered the courtroom. It was smaller than I'd imagined. Wood paneling, fluorescent lights, the kind of institutional beige that screamed bureaucracy. Theo sat at the plaintiff's table with David Grayson, both in expensive suits, both looking confident. When Theo saw me, something flickered across his face. Surprise? Appreciation? Then it was gone. replaced by cold calculation. I'd worn this dress on purpose. The burnt orange that made my skin luminous, that celebrated rather than apologized for my body. I'd left my hair natural and big. I'd worn minimal makeup because I was done hiding. If Theo thought I'd come here looking broken, he was wrong. We took our seats. Daiwin sat behind me in the gallery, close enough that I could feel his presence. He'd wanted to sit with me at the table, but Erica had forbidden it. The bailiff entered. All rise for the Honorable Judge Raymond Morrison. Judge Morrison was exactly what I'd feared. Late 60s, white, with the kind of weathered face that suggested he'd been doing this job since before I was born. He sat, shuffled papers, and looked at both tables with sharp eyes. Please be seated. His voice was gravelly. This is an emergency custody hearing in the matter of Park versus Park. Mr. Grayson, you filed for full custody of the minor children. Present your case. David Grayson stood, and I was reminded why Erica had called him a shark. Mid-50s, perfectly groomed, with the kind of voice that made everything sound reasonable and true. Your Honor, my client Theodore Park is deeply concerned about the welfare of his daughters, Oriana and Delphine. On the night of September 15th, Mrs. Park abandoned the family home following a heated argument. She left her children, 4-year-old girls, sleeping upstairs, with no explanation, no plan for their care. That's not, I started, but Erica's hand clamped on my arm. Grayson continued smoothly. Within hours of leaving, Mrs. Park moved into a luxury hotel with a man she claims is merely a business associate, Mr. Han Daewon of Hansung Group. She has been cohabitating with Mr. Han since that night. Under the table, my hands were shaking. I clasped them together, nails digging into palms. We have testimony from the security guard who witnessed Mrs. Park leaving voluntarily. We have testimony from Mr. Park's mother regarding Mrs. Park's struggle with the demands of motherhood. And we have audio evidence suggesting Mrs. Park's mental state was severely compromised. He tapped his tablet. My own voice filled the courtroom. I can't do this anymore. I just can't. The words were raw with exhaustion, stripped of context. I remembered that night, Delphine burning up with fever, Oriana having nightmares, 36 hours without sleep. I'd said those words at 3 a.m., delirious and overwhelmed, but never meaning I wanted to give up my children. But no one in this courtroom knew that. They just heard a mother saying she couldn't do it anymore. Judge Morrison was writing notes. Under the table, my hands found each other again, squeezing, trying to anchor myself. Furthermore, Grayson said, we have concerns about Mrs. Park's judgment. Mr. Han Daewon has been investigating my client for years. We have evidence of inquiries into Mr. Park's business practices, finances, and personal life, all traced back to Hansung Group's legal team. This suggests a coordinated, premeditated effort to destroy Mr. Park's reputation and steal his family. That's absurd, Erica said sharply. Is it? Grayson pulled up more documents. Or is it a woman who was already having an emotional affair, if not physical, and used a marital argument as excuse to leave? A woman who had a billionaire waiting in the wings, ready to provide her with everything she wanted? I wanted to scream, to stand up and tell them the truth. But Erica had been clear. Let me handle it. Don't react. Don't give them ammunition. So I sat there, hands clasped so tight my knuckles were white, and let them tear me apart. Your Honor, Grayson said, Mr. Park is not seeking to punish his wife. He's seeking to protect his daughters from instability. From a mother who abandoned them for a wealthier man. From a situation that is frankly unsuitable for young children. He sat down. The silence was crushing. Judge Morrison looked at Erica. Ms. Vondra? Your response? Erica stood and I watched her transform into something predatory. Your Honor, Opposing counsel's narrative is compelling. It's also complete fiction. She didn't even glance at her notes. Let's address the so-called abandonment. Mrs. Park didn't leave her children. She was forcibly removed from the marital home by her husband. Mr. Park gave her 20 minutes to pack a bag, while security guards waited to escort her off the property. The house is solely in Mr. Park's name, a fact he used as leverage to control her throughout their marriage. She pulled out her own tablet. As for the audio, let me play it with context. A longer clip played. Me crying, saying those words. Then Theo's voice. See? You can't even handle them. You're a terrible mother. The courtroom shifted. That audio was recorded without Mrs. Park's knowledge or consent, Erica continued. It was edited to remove Mr. Park's verbal abuse. The full recording shows a woman at her breaking point, not because she didn't want her children, but because she was being systematically broken by her husband. She advanced on Grayson's table. As for Mr. Han's so-called investigation, yes, Hansong Group looked into Mr. Park's business practices. They found systematic housing discrimination, financial fraud, and a pattern of abuse toward women in his employ. This information exists whether Mrs. Park and Mr. Han have a relationship or not. But they do have a relationship, Grayson interjected. A professional one, Erica shot back. Mr. Han offered Mrs. Park a legitimate position as head of interior design for Hansung Group's Manhattan property. Her design portfolio, which I'm happy to provide, speaks for itself. This isn't nepotism, it's recognizing talent. She turned to Judge Morrison. Your Honor, Mr. Park is painting my client as an unstable woman who ran to another man. The truth? She's a victim of financial abuse who accepted help from a friend when she had nowhere else to turn. She's a mother who's been denied access to her children for 3 weeks. She's a woman who's fighting to protect her daughters from a man who views them as property, not people. These are serious allegations, Ms. Vondra. I have evidence to support every single one. She pulled out Veronique's USB drive, including video evidence of Mr. Park coaching his 4-year-old daughters to lie about their mother in court. Grayson stood. Objection. We haven't been provided. It was provided this morning via email as soon as we received it. Erica cut him off. Check your inbox, counselor. Judge Morrison held up a hand. I'll review all evidence. But first, Mr. Grayson, you mentioned testimony from Mrs. Park's mother. My stomach dropped. Number, not that. Chapter 2. Yes, Your Honor. Mrs. Margaret Moreau has provided video testimony. The screen at the front of the courtroom flickered to life. My mother appeared via Zoom, sitting in what looked like her Arizona living room. She was 63, still beautiful in that carefully maintained way, wearing pearls and judgment. I hadn't spoken to her in 4 months. The last conversation had ended with her telling me I was throwing away a good marriage over nothing. Mrs. Moreau, Grayson's voice came through the speakers. You're Alyssa's mother? Yes. Her voice was clipped, uncomfortable. And you're aware of this custody battle? I am. Have you spoken to your daughter recently? My mother's eyes flickered. No, not in several months. Why not? She hesitated. In that pause, I saw everything I'd spent my life trying to escape. The disappointment, the hardly hidden resentment, the sense that I was never quite enough. Alyssa and I have a complicated relationship, she finally said. Can you elaborate? She's always been difficult. The words came easier now, like she'd been holding them back and finally had permission. Sensitive. Even as a child, she needed constant validation. Nothing was ever enough. I felt Daewin shift behind me. His hand found my shoulder through the gap between the chair and the table. Warm, steady. When Alyssa married Theodore, my mother continued, I was relieved. A successful man from a good family who saw something in her despite, well, I told her not to mess it up. Despite what, Mrs. Moreau? Despite her tendencies toward self-sabotage, Alyssa has a pattern. She gets something good and finds a way to ruin it. The words sunk deep into my skin and stayed there, threatening to tear me apart. This was my mother, the woman who'd raised me, and she was helping Theo take my children. In your opinion, Grayson asked, is Alyssa capable of providing stable care for her daughters? I don't know. My mother's voice was small now. I want to believe she is, but she's impulsive. She makes decisions based on emotion rather than logic. And this thing with the Korean businessman, it's exactly the kind of poor judgment I've always worried about. Judge Morrison was writing furiously. The video cut off. I sat there, unable to breathe. My own mother had just told a judge I wasn't fit to raise my children. Daewon's hand tightened on my shoulder. Erica leaned close. We'll address this, I promise. But how do you address your own mother calling you inadequate? How do you fight that? Ms. Vondra, Judge Morrison said, do you have counter-testimony? I have something better, Your Honor. I have the truth. She stood. But first, I'd like to call the children. Absolutely not, Grayson said. These children are 4 years old. And they're the ones most affected by this decision, Erica interrupted. They have a right to be heard, even at 4. Judge Morrison considered. I'll allow it. Briefly, but I'll question them myself. No leading, no coaching from either side. The courtroom doors opened. Margaret Park entered with Oriana and Delphine. My heart stopped. 3 weeks. I hadn't seen them in 3 weeks, and they looked different. Older somehow. Oriana's hair was in tight braids instead of the loose puffs she preferred. Delphine wore a dress I'd never seen. Formal, expensive, not her usual purple. They looked like little dolls dressed up by someone who didn't know them. Mommy! Oriana saw me and started to run. Margaret caught her. Oriana, no! You have to talk to the judge first. Oriana's face crumpled, but she obeyed. Both girls walked to the witness stand, which had been modified with a booster seat so they could see over it. They sat together, holding hands, looking small and scared. Judge Morrison's expression softened. Hi, girls. I'm Judge Morrison. You're not in trouble, okay? I just want to ask you a few questions. Oriana nodded. Delphine just stared. Oriana, can you tell me, who do you want to live with? Oriana's answer was immediate. Mommy. Relief flooded through me so intensely I nearly sobbed. And why do you want to live with Mommy? Because I miss her. She sings us songs and makes funny voices, and she doesn't make us sit still all the time like Grandma does. And she lets us pick our own clothes, and she says our hair is beautiful the way it is, and... Her voice got quieter. And I miss her. Judge Morrison turned to Delphine. And you, Delphine, who do you want to live with? Delphine was quiet for a long moment. Then in that serious voice that was so much like mine, I don't know. My heart cracked. You don't know? Judge Morrison asked gently. Daddy says Mommy will leave again. Delphine's dark eyes, my eyes, were filled with a wariness that no 4-year-old should have. He says she chose her boyfriend over us, and I don't want her to leave again. I made a sound I couldn't control. A broken noise that came from somewhere deep. Daewon's hand was still on my shoulder, anchoring me to reality. Delphine, Judge Morrison said carefully. Did Daddy tell you to say that? She hesitated. You could see her processing, trying to figure out the right answer. He said to tell the truth, and the truth is Mommy left. But did he tell you why Mommy left? He said she didn't want us anymore. The courtroom was silent. "Okay, girls," Judge Morrison said kindly. "You can go back to Grandma now. Thank you for being brave." Margaret Park collected them, shot me a look I couldn't decipher, and led them out. Oriana looked back at me over her shoulder, reaching. I mouthed, "I love you." When the doors closed, Judge Morrison turned to both tables. "I'm going to call a 1-hour recess. I need to review the video evidence Ms. Vondra mentioned, and I need time to consider everything I've heard. We'll reconvene at 11 a.m. He stood, and we all stood with him. Then he was gone, and I was left standing in a courtroom that felt like it was crushing me. Chapter 3. Erica was already talking. That went better than expected. Oriana's testimony was perfect, and Delphine's hesitation actually helps us. It shows Theo's coaching didn't completely take. Plus, Judge Morrison asked if Theo told her what to say. That means he's suspicious of... "My mother," I interrupted. My voice sounded hollow. "My own mother just told a judge I'm unfit." Erica's expression softened. "I know. We'll address it in our rebuttal. We have character witnesses. Your therapist's evaluation. It doesn't matter. I was shaking. She's my mother, and she thinks I'm nothing." I turned and walked out of the courtroom before Erica could respond. The hallway was quieter. Press was being kept at bay by courthouse security. I found a bench and sat, head in my hands, trying to breathe. This was it. This was the breaking point. Not Theo's cruelty. Not the custody battle. Not even watching my daughters look at me with confusion. It was hearing my mother, the woman who'd raised me, who'd supposedly loved me, reduce me to a pattern of self-sabotage, an impulsive child who couldn't be trusted. Footsteps approached. I didn't look up. "Hey." Daywin's voice, gentle. "I need a minute." "I know, but you're not alone out here, so I'm staying." He sat beside me on the bench, not touching, just present. After a long moment, I spoke. She was right. My mother. I am impulsive. I did make a poor decision running to you. I did look like exactly what Theo's painting me as, a woman who couldn't wait 2 seconds before finding a replacement. That's not true, isn't it? I finally looked at him. Be honest. How did it look? Me leaving and immediately moving in with a billionaire who'd been watching me for 4 years. What judge is going to believe that's innocent? Daywin was quiet for a beat. Then, the kind of judge who looks at the evidence instead of the optics. "And Alyssa, you didn't run to me. You accepted help when you had nowhere else to go. There's a difference. Not to Judge Morrison, there isn't. Then we make him see the difference." Daywin shifted closer. "Your mother is wrong about you. You're not impulsive. You're not self-sabotaging. You're someone who was systematically broken by a man who needed you small to feel big. That's not a character flaw, that's survival." I wanted to believe him. God, I wanted to believe him. What if we lose? The question came out small. We won't. But what if we do? Daywin didn't answer immediately. When he did, his voice was serious. Then we appeal. We keep fighting. We don't stop until those girls are home with you where they belong. That could take months. Years. Then it takes months. I'm not going anywhere. I looked at him then. Really looked at him. This man who'd appeared in the rain 3 weeks ago and turned my entire life upside down. This man who'd given me everything without asking for anything in return except the chance to stand beside me. "Why?" I asked. "Why are you doing this? Really? No speeches about seeing potential or being lonely. Tell me the real reason." Daywin held my gaze. "You want the truth? Please." "Because 4 years ago at a wedding, I spent 20 minutes talking to a woman who saw the world differently than anyone I'd ever met, who talked about design like it was poetry, who lit up when she described turning empty spaces into art. He paused, and then her husband appeared and pulled her away, and I watched her light go out like someone had flipped a switch. In that moment, I knew two things. One, that I'd met someone extraordinary, and two, that her husband was slowly killing who she was. He reached for my hand. I let him take it. I went back to Seoul and I couldn't stop thinking about you, about that light. So I started asking Sun Hai about you, casually. How's your friend Alyssa? And she'd tell me you seemed happy. You'd stopped designing. You were focused on family. But I knew you weren't happy, because happy people don't put out their own light. So you investigated Theo. I investigated a man I suspected was abusing someone I cared about. And when I found evidence of fraud, discrimination, a pattern of predatory behavior, I knew I was right. I knew that eventually you'd see it too. And when you did, when you finally needed help, I wanted to be ready. I searched for the word. That's a little obsessive, Daewon. I know. But I'm not apologizing for caring about you, for wanting to help, for being ready when you needed someone. He squeezed my hand. You can call it whatever you want. But Alyssa, I've spent 4 years watching you from a distance, hoping you'd find your light again. And now that you have, I'm not letting anyone take it away. Not Theo, not your mother, not even you. Before I could respond, a familiar voice cut through the moment. Well, isn't this touching? We both turned. Theo stood 10 feet away, alone for once. No David Grayson, no Margaret Park. Just him in his expensive suit, looking at us with something I couldn't quite name. What are you doing out here? I stood, putting distance between Daewon and myself. You're not supposed to approach me. Relax, I'm not here to fight. Theo took a step closer, and I saw it then. He looked tired, older than his 38 years. I wanted to talk to you, alone, but I see that's not possible anymore. Daewon stood, positioned himself slightly in front of me. Say what you came to say and leave. Theo's jaw tightened. 5 minutes. That's all I'm asking. Alyssa, please. I should have said no. Should have walked away. But something in his voice, a vulnerability I hadn't heard in years, made me hesitate. I'll be right inside, Daewon said quietly, looking at me. Shout if you need me. He left, though I could see him through the courtroom doors, watching. Theo and I stood there in the hallway, two people who'd once promised forever, now strangers. You look good, he said finally. That dress, your hair. You look more like yourself than you have in years. What do you want, Theo? He ran a hand through his hair, a gesture I recognized from 7 years of marriage. He did it when he was nervous. I want to make you an offer, before Judge Morrison comes back, before this gets uglier. An offer. Joint custody, 50-50 split, reasonable child support, fair division of assets, more than the prenup allows. He stepped closer. You end whatever this is with Han. You stay out of the public eye. You don't make me look like the villain, and we both walk away with our daughters. I stared at him. You're serious. Completely. His eyes held mine. I'm not a monster, Alyssa. I don't want to destroy you, I just want my family protected. Protected from what? From this. He gestured vaguely. From you making impulsive decisions? From you bringing a stranger into my daughter's lives? From you... He stopped himself. From me what? Theo. Say it. From you doing exactly what your mother said you'd do. Self-sabotaging. Burning down everything good in your life because you can't handle being stable. The words were a slap. I'm offering you a way out, Theo continued. A way to keep your dignity, keep your girls, and move on. All you have to do is walk away from him? Why? I asked. Why does it matter so much if I'm with Daewon or not? You don't want me. You made that clear when you threw me out for Veronique. Something flickered across Theo's face. It's not about wanting you. It's about our daughters seeing their mother with another man, a Korean man. It makes me look replaceable? The word came out sharp. It makes you look replaceable. That's what this is really about. Not the girls. Your ego. That's not. You can't stand it, can you? That I found someone else. That I didn't fall apart without you. That I'm actually thriving. I stepped closer, feeling powerful for the first time since walking into this courthouse. You wanted me broken, Theo. You spent years breaking me, and when I finally escaped, you wanted to make sure I stayed broken. But I didn't. I built myself back up, and that terrifies you. Theo's mask slipped. I saw real anger there. You think you've won? You think Han is your knight in shining armor? He's been investigating me for years, Alyssa. Years. What kind of man does that? What kind of obsession? The kind that cared enough to look, I interrupted. The kind that saw you were hurting me and wanted to be ready to help when I finally saw it too. You call it obsession. I call it someone who actually gives a damn. Take the deal, Theo said, voice hard now. Because if you don't, I'm going to make sure you lose. Grayson has more. More audio, more testimony, more evidence that you're unstable. You think hearing your mother call you inadequate was bad? Wait until you hear what else we have. I don't care. Yes, you do. Because you're about to sit in that courtroom and watch me tear apart every single piece of your character. Every flaw, every mistake, every moment where you were less than perfect. And when I'm done, Judge Morrison is going to give me full custody. And you're going to get supervised visitation. 2 hours a week. With a court-appointed monitor. Is that what you want? My hands were shaking, but I didn't back down. What I want is for you to get the hell away from me. Last chance, Alyssa. My answer is no. I'm not walking away from Daewon. I'm not disappearing to make you comfortable. And I'm definitely not taking parenting advice from a man who threw his wife out on their anniversary. Theo's expression went cold. You're going to regret this. The only thing I regret is not leaving you sooner. He turned and walked away. I stood there shaking, feeling like I'd just survived a hurricane. The courtroom doors opened. Daewon appeared. You okay? No, but I will be. He came to me, and without thinking, I stepped into his arms. Let him hold me. Let myself take the comfort he was offering. What did he want? To make me an offer. Joint custody if I walked away from you. Daewon tensed. And? I told him to go to hell. I felt Daewon's smile against my hair. That's my girl. Before I could respond, Erica appeared. They're calling us back in. Judge Morrison is ready. This was it. Whatever happened next would determine everything. Chapter 4. We walked back into the courtroom together. Theo was already seated, his expression unreadable. Judge Morrison returned, and we all stood. Please be seated, Judge Morrison said. I've reviewed the video evidence provided by Ms. Vandra. I've also reviewed all submitted documentation. I have questions before I make my preliminary ruling. My heart was pounding so hard I could hear it. Ms. Vandra, Judge Morrison said. The videos of Mr. Park coaching the children are compelling, but they also raise questions about the source. The metadata shows they were recorded on a device registered to Veronique Castell, Mr. Park's girlfriend. Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Castell provided the videos to my client out of concern for the children's welfare. Is Ms. Castell available to testify? She is, but she's 6 months pregnant and was hesitant to appear in person due to what, exactly? Erica hesitated. I could see her calculating. Due to fear of Mr. Park, Your Honor. He's made threats regarding custody of her unborn child if she doesn't cooperate with his narrative. Grayson stood. Objection. That's hearsay and... The courtroom doors burst open. FBI Agent Martinez entered, flanked by 3 other agents in tactical gear. The room went completely silent. Your Honor, Agent Martinez said, I apologize for the interruption. We have an urgent matter that directly affects these proceedings. Judge Morrison's eyes narrowed. Agent Martinez, this is highly irregular. I understand, Your Honor, but we have a federal warrant for the arrest of Theodore Park. The words hung in the air for one perfect frozen moment. Then chaos erupted. Chapter 5. Complete. Absolute. Silence. Then everyone spoke at once. What? Theo stood so fast his chair tipped backward. Your Honor, this is absurd. Grayson was on his feet. Order! Judge Morrison's gavel cracked like thunder. Order in this courtroom! But I couldn't hear any of it. I was staring at Agent Martinez, my brain trying to process what he'd just said. Arrest warrant. Federal. Theo. 2 agents moved toward Theo's table. He backed up, hands raised like he was being robbed. This is a mistake, Theo said, voice higher than I'd ever heard it. Your Honor, I don't know what this is about, but... Theodore Park, Agent Martinez said, his voice cutting through the noise with practiced authority. You're under arrest for wire fraud, tax evasion, money laundering, and conspiracy to commit mortgage fraud in connection with your real estate holdings. The agents reached Theo. One pulled out handcuffs. You have the right to remain silent, the agent began. No, no, Theo was looking at Judge Morrison desperately. Your Honor, I haven't been formally notified of any charges. This is... David, do something. Grayson was already moving. Your Honor, my client hasn't been given proper notice. This is a violation of... Your client has been under federal investigation for 18 months. Agent Martinez interrupted. The indictment was unsealed at 8 a.m. this morning. Mr. Grayson, you should have received notification via email to your office. Grayson pulled out his phone, face going pale as he scrolled. I sat frozen, watching this unfold like a movie I wasn't actually in. Daywin's hand found my shoulder from behind, grounding me to reality. Additionally, Agent Martinez continued as the agents cuffed Theo's wrists. Mr. Park is being charged with witness tampering and obstruction of justice in relation to this custody case specifically. Judge Morrison leaned forward. Witness tampering? Yes, Your Honor, we have evidence Mr. Park coerced his assistant, Veronique Castell, to lie in depositions and threatened her with loss of child custody if she testified against him. We also have evidence he illegally recorded his wife without her knowledge or consent, in what appears to be an attempt to fabricate evidence of mental instability. Every word was a bomb going off. Theo's eyes found mine across the courtroom. In them, I saw something I'd never seen before. Genuine fear. Your Honor, he started. Mr. Park, Agent Martinez said firmly, I strongly advise you to stop talking. But Theo had lost it. His carefully constructed mask was crumbling in real time. This is her fault. He jerked his head toward me, the handcuffs rattling. All of it. She orchestrated this with him. Now he was looking at Daywin. You think I don't know? You've been planning this for years, investigating me, waiting for your moment. Mr. Park, the agent warned again. Those girls are mine! Theo was yelling now, struggling against the agents, holding him. Mine! I won't let some... One of the agents physically turned him toward the door. Your Honor. Erica was on her feet, and I could hear the barely contained excitement in her voice. Given this development, I'd like to file an emergency motion to modify custody immediately. Before Judge Morrison could respond, Agent Martinez spoke again. Your Honor, if I may, there's additional information relevant to this custody proceeding. He approached the bench, handed a folder to the bailiff, who gave it to Judge Morrison. What we found goes beyond housing discrimination, Agent Martinez said. Mr. Park and his associates specifically targeted Black and Latino families, offering them predatory loans with hidden terms designed to make them default. When they did, Mr. Park would seize the properties and flip them for profit. We've identified 47 families who lost their homes this way. The total fraud amount exceeds $12 million. I felt like I couldn't breathe. $12 million. 47 families. Judge Morrison was reading the documents, his face getting progressively redder. But what's most relevant to this case, Your Honor, Agent Martinez continued, pulling out another document, is what we found on Mr. Park's personal computer during the execution of our search warrant this morning. He read from the paper. These are direct quotes from files found on Mr. Park's laptop, dated over the past 8 months. Recording a crying at 3 a.m. will edit to remove context about sick kids. Sounds like mental breakdown. Mother-in-law agreed to testify against A for $50,000. She'll say whatever I need. Hired PI to follow A and Han. Need photos that look like a fair even if nothing happening. Security guard at house will testify she left voluntarily for $5,000 payment. Doctor friend will write PPD evaluation without examination. Owes me favor from medical school. Veronique pregnant. Perfect timing. Will use baby to show. I'm stable family man. If V doesn't cooperate, will threaten custody of her child too. Girls are confused. Good. Keep telling them mommy chose work over them. Record it for court. Final step. Get full custody. Sell house. Move to Seoul with girls within 2 weeks. Or will never be able to follow or afford international custody battle. The courtroom was completely silent except for my sharp intake of breath. $50,000. He'd paid my mother $50,000 to destroy me in court. Agent Martinez wasn't finished. Your Honor, Mr. Park planned to flee the country with these children to avoid prosecution. We found one-way tickets to Seoul for him and the girls, dated October 15th, 2 weeks from today. No return flight. No ticket for their mother. He was going to kidnap these children and disappear. My vision tunneled. The room spun. Daewon's hands were on my shoulders now, the only thing keeping me upright. Judge Morrison's voice was shaking with rage. Mr. Park, in my 30 years on the bench, I have never seen such a calculated, malicious abuse of the legal system and the sanctity of parenthood. Theo was still struggling against the agents. Your Honor, those files are taken out of context. I was documenting. You were planning to kidnap your daughters. Judge Morrison's voice cracked like a whip. You were planning to flee the country. You paid the plaintiff's own mother to lie in court. He turned to Grayson. Mr. Grayson, did you have knowledge of any of this? Grayson looked green. Your Honor, No, absolutely not. If I had known, then I suggest you distance yourself from this case immediately. Bailiff. Remove Mr. Park from this courtroom. As the agent started moving Theo toward the door, his control completely snapped. This is your fault, Alyssa. His voice was raw, desperate. All of it. I gave you everything and you ruined it. Those girls deserved a real Korean mother, not someone who... Mr. Park, stop talking, Agent Martinez commanded. But Theo was beyond hearing. I should have left you when you got pregnant. I stayed out of pity. You were nothing before me, a nobody designer who got lucky, and you're still nothing. Those girls are mine, you hear me? Mine, and I will never. Daewon was moving. He vaulted over the gallery railing before I could stop him. Finish that sentence, Daewon said, voice like steel. And federal charges will be the least of your problems. 2 agents immediately stepped between them. "Sir, step back," one said to Daewon. Theo was breathing hard, eyes wild. "You think you've won? You think you can just take my family? I'll destroy you. I'll destroy all of you. I have lawyers. I have money. The agents physically removed him from the courtroom. His shouts echoed down the hallway. "You'll never keep them! I'll fight this! A door slammed. Silence. Chapter 6. I sat there, unable to move, unable to process. This couldn't be real. This couldn't be happening. Judge Morrison was breathing heavily, trying to regain his composure. "Ms. Vondra, your emergency motion is granted." Erica squeezed my shoulder. Judge Morrison looked directly at me. "Mrs. Park? Or should I say Ms. Miro, I owe you an apology. This court nearly failed you and your daughter spectacularly." I couldn't speak, could barely breathe. Based on the evidence just presented, and Mr. Park's own documented plans to flee the country with these children, I am granting you, Alyssa Miro, full legal and physical custody of Oriana and Delphine Park, effective immediately. The words didn't land at first. They just hung in the air, impossible to believe. Full custody, immediately. Furthermore, Judge Morrison continued, his voice still tight with anger. Theodore Park's parental rights are hereby suspended, pending the outcome of his criminal trial. He will have no contact with the children, not supervised, not unsupervised, no contact, until such time as this court determines he is not a danger to their welfare. My hands flew to my mouth. Additionally, I am referring Mr. Park's attorney, David Grayson, to the State Bar for investigation. The legal tactics employed in this case suggest possible knowledge of his client's schemes. Grayson stood pale. "Your Honor, I assure you I had no knowledge." "Save it for the bar investigators, Counselor." Judge Morrison turned back to me, and his expression softened. "Ms. Moreau, I want you to know something. I have 2 daughters of my own. If any man ever treated them the way Mr. Park treated you, with such calculated cruelty, such systematic abuse, I would hope they'd have your strength to fight back." He paused. "You are an exceptional mother. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, especially not your own mother." I was crying now, couldn't stop the tears even if I wanted to. "Your daughters are going home with you today," Judge Morrison said. "Where they belong. This court is adjourned." The gavel came down. For a moment, I just sat there, frozen. Then Erica was pulling me up, hugging me, and I was sobbing into her expensive suit jacket. "You did it," she was saying. "Oh my God, Alyssa, you did it. You won. You won." Daewon was there suddenly, and Erica stepped back. He pulled me into his arms and I collapsed against him, shaking with sobs that were half relief, half disbelief. "I won," I said into his chest. "I actually won." "You won," he confirmed, his arms tight around me. "They're yours. They're coming home." Around us, the courtroom was chaos. Press had somehow gotten word. I could hear shouting from the hallway. Grayson was frantically packing his briefcase. Agent Martinez was speaking with Judge Morrison. But I didn't care about any of it. I had my daughters back. "Where are they?" I pulled back from Daewon. "Where are Oriana and Delphine?" "Still in the waiting room with the advocate," Erica said. "But Alyssa, before you see them, we need to talk about what happens next. The press outside is—" "I don't care about the press." "You should. This is going to be everywhere. The arrest, the custody ruling, everything." She was already on her phone. "We need to control the narrative before—" "Erica." I stopped her. "I appreciate everything you've done, truly. But right now, I need to see my daughters. Everything else can wait." She studied me for a moment, then nodded. "Okay, but after we talk." There are things you need to know about how to handle this going forward. I agreed, but I was barely listening. I was already moving toward the door. The hallway was pandemonium. Press everywhere despite courthouse restrictions, cameras, microphones, people shouting questions. Ms. Miro, how do you feel about the verdict? Did you know about your husband's criminal activity? Is it true he was going to kidnap your children? What's your relationship with Daewon Han? Security was trying to maintain order, but it was chaos. I pushed through, Daewon and Erica flanking me, until we reached the family waiting room. Margaret Park was inside with Oriana and Delphine. She stood when I entered, her face unreadable. Alyssa, she said stiffly. The court advocate told me the outcome. Congratulations. I couldn't even look at her. Couldn't process that she'd been paid to destroy me. My attention was entirely on my daughters. They were sitting on a small couch, coloring. Oriana saw me first. Mommy! She dropped her crayons and launched herself at me. I caught her, lifted her even though my arms were shaking, and held her so tight she squeaked. Mommy, I can't breathe. Sorry, baby, sorry. I loosened my grip but didn't let go. Couldn't let go. Delphine approached more slowly, her expression cautious. Mommy? She said softly. Are you crying? Happy tears, sweetheart. The happiest tears. Does that mean we're going home with you? I knelt down, one arm still around Oriana, and pulled Delphine close with the other. Yes, today, right now, forever. Delphine's serious little face crumpled. Forever? You promise? I promise. I fought to come back to you and I won. You're coming home with Mommy and nobody can take you away again. Delphine started crying, really crying, and threw her arms around my neck. Both girls clinging to me, all of us crying, and it was the most beautiful moment of my entire life. Mrs. Park, Miss Moreau. Margaret's voice cut through the moment. I need to speak with you. Alone. I looked up at her, still holding my daughters. No. Please, it's important. Anything you have to say, you can say in front of them. I stood, a daughter on each hip even though they were getting too big for it. Or better yet, don't say it at all. Alyssa, no, I'm done listening to you tell me who I am. I know who I am. I'm a mother who just won her children back. I'm a designer who created something beautiful. I'm a woman who refused to stay down when someone tried to destroy her. Margaret's eyes filled with tears. I was trying to protect you. By helping him take my children, I adjusted my grip on the girls. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm taking my daughters home. I walked past her, out of the waiting room, back into the chaos of the hallway. The press surged forward, but Daewon and Erica created a barrier. Security helped clear a path to the courthouse exit. Outside, the steps were packed with cameras and reporters. The afternoon sun was bright after the fluorescent courtroom lighting. I stood there with my daughters, Daewon beside me, and faced the cameras. Ms. Moreau, a reporter shoved a microphone forward. Can you comment on the verdict? I looked at Erica. She nodded slightly. This was my moment. 3 weeks ago? I said, and my voice carried across the crowd. My husband told me I became ugly after kids. He threw me out of our home. He took my daughters from me. He tried to convince the world and them that I was unstable, unfit, not enough. The cameras were all on me. I could see my face on phone screens as people live-streamed. Today the truth came out. Not because I'm special, but because I refused to stay silent. Because I refused to believe the lies he told about me. Because I fought. I looked down at Oriana and Delphine. They were watching me with wide eyes. To every woman watching this who's been told she's not enough, you are enough. You always were. The problem was never you. And to my daughters, I knelt down to their level, not caring about the cameras. Mommy's not ugly. Mommy's not broken. Mommy is strong. And you can be strong too. Never let anyone make you feel small. Ms. Moreau, another reporter, will you pursue civil charges against your ex-husband? That's a question for my lawyer. I stood up. But what I will say is this. I'm not interested in revenge. I'm interested in healing. For me and for my daughters. What about Mr. Han? A reporter gestured to Daewon. Daewon stepped forward slightly, his hand finding the small of my back. A gesture of support, not possession. Ms. Moreau and I are close, he said, his voice calm and professional. Anything beyond that is between us and not for public consumption. But what I can say is that I have never met a stronger, more resilient person in my life, and supporting her through this has been my honor. He looked at me when he said it, and the cameras caught everything. The tenderness in his eyes, the way I leaned into him slightly, the way my daughters looked at him with trust. One more question, a reporter called out. Ms. Moreau, what's next for you? I looked at the crowd, at all these strangers who'd be dissecting my life on social media tonight. Then I looked at my daughters. I'm going home, I said simply. We're going to order pizza, watch a movie, and sleep in our own beds. Everything else can wait. Daewon's driver pulled up, the same black Mercedes from that first night in the rain. We got in, security holding back the press, and the door closed on the chaos. Inside the car, silence. Chapter 7. Oriana and Delphine were in their car seats. Daewon had thought of everything. I was between them, holding both their hands. Mommy, Oriana said quietly, why were all those people taking pictures? Because what happened today was important, baby. But you don't need to worry about them. Is Daddy really going to jail? Delphine asked, her voice small. I looked at Daewon, who was watching us with gentle eyes. He nodded slightly. Tell them the truth. Daddy made some really bad choices, I said carefully. He hurt a lot of people, and when grown-ups hurt people, they have to face consequences. So yes, Daddy is probably going to jail for a while. Did he hurt you? Delphine's dark eyes, so much like mine, were too knowing for a 4-year-old. Yes, sweetheart, he did. I'm sorry, Mommy. I pulled her close. It's not your fault. None of this is your fault. Daddy loves you both very much, but he forgot how to show love in a healthy way. That's his problem to fix, not yours. Will we ever see him again? Oriana asked. Maybe someday, when he's better, when he's learned how to be the daddy you deserve. But right now it's just us. Is that okay? Both girls nodded. The car pulled up to my Tribeca building. Our building. Home. You ready? Daewon asked softly. More than ready. We got out, Daewon carrying both girls' overnight bags that Margaret had packed. Inside the lobby, up the elevator, down the hallway to apartment 4307. I unlocked the door and we stepped inside. Welcome home, girls, I said. Oriana and Delphine ran through the apartment, exploring rooms they'd only seen briefly before. Their squeals of delight echoed off the walls as they discovered their bedrooms. Purple for Delphine, yellow for Oriana, exactly as promised. Mommy! Mommy, come see! Oriana was bouncing. It's perfect! I followed them, watched them explore every corner of their rooms, claiming this space as theirs. Daewon stayed in the living room, giving us space. When I came back out, he was standing by the window looking out at the Brooklyn Bridge. Thank you, I said. He turned. For what? For everything. The apartment, the lawyer, the job offer. For being there, for... My voice cracked. For seeing me when I couldn't see myself. Daewon crossed the room in 3 strides and pulled me into his arms. Not romantic. Just comfort when I needed it most. "You don't have to thank me," he said into my hair. "You did this. You fought. You won. I just stood beside you. You did more than that. Maybe, but Alyssa..." He pulled back to look at me. "Everything I did because I wanted to, not because I expected anything in return. I need you to know that. I do know that. But I also know..." I stopped, trying to find the words. "I also know that I'm not the same person you met in the rain 3 weeks ago. I'm figuring out who I am without him. And I don't know how long that's going to take. Take all the time you need. What if it takes months? What if..." He put a finger gently over my lips. "Then it takes months. I told you, I've waited 4 years. I'm patient." From the bedrooms, the girls' laughter rang out. "I should let you settle in," Daewon said. "You've had enough for one day." "Stay." The word came out before I could stop it. Not stay. Just stay for dinner? The girls would like it, and I took a breath. I would like it too. His smile was soft, genuine. "Okay, I'll stay." We ordered pizza. We let the girls stay up past their bedtime watching Moana for the 100th time. We laughed at their running commentary, at the way Oriana sang along to every song, at the way Delphine tried to copy Moana's stance. It was normal. Beautifully, perfectly normal. Around 9, both girls started falling asleep on the couch. I carried Delphine to her purple room. Daewon carried Oriana to her yellow one. We tucked them in, singing the lullaby I'd sung to them every night since they were born. "More than all the stars in the sky," I finished. "And all the sand on the beach," Delphine added sleepily, finishing our refrain. I kissed her forehead, then Oriana's, then stood in the hallway looking at them through their cracked bedroom doors. "They're really here," I whispered. "In my home. Safe." Daewon stood beside me. "You did that." I turned to face him. We were alone in the hallway, the girls asleep, the city quiet beyond the windows. "I couldn't have done it without you." "Maybe, but you would have found a way. You're stronger than you think." "I don't feel strong. I searched for the word. Overwhelmed, grateful, terrified, like everything could disappear if I blink. "It won't. They're yours. Legally, officially, completely yours." I leaned against the wall, suddenly exhausted. The adrenaline that had been carrying me all day was crashing. Daewon noticed. "You should sleep. You've been running on fumes." "I don't think I can sleep. Every time I close my eyes, I see..." I stopped. "See what?" "Him, in handcuffs, looking at me like..." I shook my head. He looked broken, and I know I should feel vindicated. He tried to destroy me, but part of me just feels... sad. Daewon was quiet for a moment. Then, "That's what makes you different from him. You can still feel compassion even for someone who hurt you. That's not weakness. That's humanity." "It feels like weakness." "It's not." He reached out, tucked a curl behind my ear. "But Alyssa, you don't have to feel anything right now. Not vindication, not compassion, nothing. You're allowed to just be, to rest, to process at your own pace." I looked up at him. "Will you stay? On the couch? I don't want to be alone tonight, and I want the girls to wake up and see you here. See that we're safe. All of us." "Of course, I'll stay as long as you need." We went to the living room. I got him blankets, a pillow. It felt domestic and strange and right all at once. "Daewon," I said as I was about to go to my room. "Yeah?" "The things you said earlier, in court. Did you mean it?" He sat up slightly. "Every word. I would like for us to be more... I would like to marry you one day, Alyssa." My heart skipped a beat. even knowing I'm not ready? Especially knowing that. And that doesn't mean that I want to rush you or anything. I just want you to know my intentions and that I am willing to wait. No matter how long. Because it means when you are ready, it'll be real. Not gratitude, not rescue, just us. I smiled. Okay, good night. Good night, Alyssa. In my room, I changed into pajamas, washed my face, and climbed into bed. My phone was on the nightstand, and against my better judgment, I looked. The headlines were everywhere. Real estate mogul Theodore Park arrested in shocking courtroom drama. Mother wins custody after FBI reveals husband's fraud scheme. Designer Alyssa Moreau, from devastation to victory in 3 weeks. Korean CEO and designer courtroom scandal. Romantic or manipulative? The comments were mixed. Some were supportive. Many were cruel. The racism was thick and ugly. I put the phone face down and closed my eyes. But sleep wouldn't come. Chapter 8. Around 2 a.m., I gave up. I crept out to the living room, careful not to wake Daewon. But he was already awake, sitting up on the couch with his laptop. Can't sleep either? He asked quietly. Keep replaying everything. The arrest, the files, my mother's testimony. I sat beside him on the couch. Did you know about the $50,000? No, that came out today, same as you. She sold me out for $50,000. I laughed bitterly. I don't even know why I'm surprised. She's been telling me I'm not enough my whole life. This was just her putting a price tag on it. Daewon closed his laptop, giving me his full attention. Tell me about her. About growing up. So I did. Told him things I'd never told anyone, not even Theo. About being the daughter of a teen mom who resented her existence. About learning early that love was conditional. That approval had to be earned through being perfect. About never quite being perfect enough. When I met Theo, I said, my mother finally approved of something I did. A successful man from a good family, she kept saying. Don't mess it up. So when he started criticizing me, when he said I was ugly after kids, part of me thought she'd been right all along. That I had messed it up. That I should be grateful he stayed at all. That's not love, Daewon said softly, from either of them. I know that now, but it took losing everything to see it. We sat in the dark, the city lights filtering through the windows. Can I tell you something? Daewon asked. Always. When I was 9, my mother left. Just disappeared one day while my father was at work, while Sun Hai and I were at school. We came home and she was gone. No note, no explanation. Nothing. I turned to look at him, seeing real pain in his face. My father told everyone she'd gone back to Korea to care for her sick mother. But it was a lie. She'd left him. Left us. His voice was quiet. I didn't find out the truth until I was 17. She tracked me down, wanted to explain, said my father had been difficult, controlling, that she'd tried to leave a dozen times, but he always convinced her to stay, until finally she couldn't anymore. Did you forgive her? I tried, but she died 2 years later. Cancer. By the time I found out she was sick, it was too late. I never got to say goodbye. Never got to tell her I understood why she left. He looked at me. That's why I investigated your husband. When I saw you at that wedding, saw how he controlled you, how he made your light dim, I saw my mother. And I thought maybe if I could help you, if I could be ready when you finally saw what he was, maybe I could save someone the way I couldn't save her. Daewon, I know it sounds obsessive. Maybe it was. But I've spent my whole life wondering if my mother would still be alive if she'd had someone to help her leave. Someone to stand beside her. And when I met you, I decided I could be that someone. even if it meant waiting years, even if you never needed me. I wanted to be ready. I took his hand. Thank you for being ready, for standing beside me. Always. We sat there in the dark, hands joined, both carrying our own broken pieces. I think I can sleep now, I said eventually. Yeah? Yeah, but day one? I stood up, pulling him with me. Come with me. Alyssa? Not like that. I don't want to be alone, and I trust you, so just sleep beside me, please. He studied my face for a long moment, then nodded. Okay. In my room, we climbed into bed, fully clothed. He lay on his back, and I curled into his side, my head on his chest, his arm around me. Is this okay? I asked. It's perfect. I listened to his heartbeat, steady and strong, and for the first time in 3 weeks, maybe in 7 years, I felt safe. Daewon. I think I'm falling for you, and that terrifies me. His arm tightened around me. I know. But Alyssa, whenever you're ready to stop falling and start landing, I'll be here to catch you. I fell asleep like that, wrapped in his arms, my daughters sleeping safely down the hall. For the first time in as long as I could remember, I didn't have nightmares. Chapter 9. I woke to sunlight streaming through my bedroom window and the sound of giggling. For one perfect, disoriented second, I didn't remember where I was. Then it all came back. The courtroom, the arrest, the victory, falling asleep in Daewon's arms. I sat up quickly. He wasn't beside me anymore, but I could hear voices from the kitchen. More giggling, the smell of coffee. I padded out of my bedroom in pajamas, an old NYU design school t-shirt and shorts, following the sounds. The scene that greeted me made my heart do something complicated in my chest. Daewon stood at my stove, shirtless. He must have taken off his dress shirt from yesterday, making pancakes. Oriana and Delphine sat at the kitchen counter in their pajamas, swinging their legs and chattering away. And then Moana's grandma becomes a stingray, Oriana was explaining with wild hand gestures. That's actually kind of beautiful, Daewon said, flipping a pancake with surprising skill. It's the best part, Oriana insisted. Delphine noticed me first. Mommy, Mr. Daewon is making breakfast. All three of them turned to look at me. Daewon's eyes did a quick sweep, taking in my sleep-mussed hair, my pajamas, my bare feet, and something warm flickered across his face before he smiled. Good morning, he said. Coffee's ready. I wasn't sure how you take it, but... Cream, no sugar, I said, moving to the coffee maker. You remembered? I remember everything. The weight of those words hung between us for a moment before Oriana broke it. Mommy, can we have chocolate chips in our pancakes? May we? I corrected automatically. And yes, but only a few. Daewon was already reaching for the bag of chocolate chips I kept for baking. How did he know where everything was? I hope you don't mind, he said, catching my expression. I woke up early and the girls came out asking for breakfast and I didn't want to wake you. You needed sleep. What time is it? Almost 9. You slept for 7 hours. 7 hours. I couldn't remember the last time I'd slept that long. I poured coffee, added cream, and leaned against the counter watching Daewon cook in my kitchen like he belonged there. Watching my daughters laugh with him like they'd known him for years instead of weeks. This felt dangerously like a family. Mommy, guess what? Oriana bounced on her stool. Mr. Daewon speaks Korean. He was teaching us. Just a few words, Daewon said, plating pancakes. Annyeonghaseyo, hello. Saranghae, I love you. Gomawo, thank you. Say it again, Delphine demanded. Daewon knelt down to her level. Annyeonghaseyo, Delphine. Annyeonghaseyo, she repeated carefully, her face serious with concentration. Perfect. You're a natural. Can you teach us more? I want to talk to Grandma Margaret in Korean and surprise her. The mood shifted slightly. My daughters still loved their grandmother, still didn't understand that she'd betrayed me, and I wasn't going to poison that relationship, no matter what she'd done. Maybe, I said carefully. But first, let's eat these beautiful pancakes Mr. Daewon made. Breakfast was chaos in the best way. Syrup everywhere, chocolate chips smashed into smiles on plates, both girls talking over each other about everything and nothing. Daewon caught my eye across the table more than once, and each time I saw the same thing. Contentment. He looked happy here. In my tiny kitchen, with my crazy daughters, eating pancakes at 9 a.m. on a Tuesday. After breakfast, I shooed the girls off to brush their teeth. Daewon started cleaning up. You don't have to do that, I said, moving to help. I know, I want to. He rinsed a plate. This is nice, normal. After yesterday's chaos, I needed normal. You needed normal? I laughed. Yesterday you watched my ex-husband get arrested by the FBI. Exactly. This. He gestured around the kitchen. This is better. We cleaned in comfortable silence. When the dishes were done, I finally asked what I'd been wondering since I woke up. Don't you have work? Meetings? A billion-dollar company to run? I pushed everything to next week. He dried his hands on a towel. I wanted to make sure you were okay, that you didn't need anything. Daewon, I can't ask you to. You're not asking. I'm offering. He turned to face me fully. Alyssa, yesterday you won your daughters back. That's huge, but it's also going to be an adjustment for all of you. If I can help make that easier, I want to. By making pancakes and teaching my daughters Korean? If that's what helps, yes. I studied him. This man who'd appeared in the rain and turned my life upside down in the best possible way. This man who looked at me like I was extraordinary instead of difficult. Why? The question slipped out. Why do you care so much? Daewon set down the towel, came closer. We were in my tiny kitchen, close enough that I could see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. Because you matter, he said simply. Because they matter. Because I spent 4 years imagining what you'd be like if someone gave you the space to bloom instead of trying to prune you into submission. And now I get to see it. I get to be part of it. Why would I want to be anywhere else? My breath caught. Daewon, My phone rang, shattering the moment. Erica's name flashed on screen. I should take this, I said reluctantly. Of course, I answered. Erica. Good morning. How are you holding up? Surprisingly okay. The girls are here. We had breakfast. I looked at Daewon, who was giving me space by moving to the living room. It's good. I'm glad. But we need to talk about next steps. The press coverage is extensive, and not all of it is flattering. My stomach dropped. What do you mean? There's a narrative forming that you're a gold digger who orchestrated this whole thing to trade up from one rich Korean man to another. The racial dynamics aren't helping. A black woman with 2 Korean men. You know how this goes. I did know. I'd been seeing the comments last night. What do I do? Nothing right now. Let it die down. But Alyssa, you need to be careful going forward. Any public appearance with Daewon will fuel speculation. Any relationship announcement will be dissected. You just won full custody. You don't want to give Theo's lawyers ammunition if he appeals. He can appeal? Technically, yes. Though given that he's facing federal charges and his own files incriminated him, it's unlikely to succeed. But still, be smart. Keep your private life private for now. After we hung up, I stood there holding my phone, reality crashing back in. Daewon appeared in the doorway. Everything okay? Erica says we should keep distance, publicly, that any relationship between us will be used against me if Theo appeals. Something flickered across Daywin's face. She's probably right. So what do we do? We're careful. We're smart. He came closer. But Alyssa, I'm not going anywhere. If we need to be discreet for a while, we can be discreet. What if it's not just a while? What if it's months? Then it's months. His hand found my cheek. I've waited 4 years. I can wait a little longer. Before I could respond, Oriana came running in. Mommy, can we go to the park? Please? Delphine and I want to play. The moment dissolved. Back to reality. Back to being a mother. Let me get dressed first, I said. Why don't you and Delphine pick out clothes? As Oriana ran off, Daewon said quietly, I should probably go, give you space to settle in. Don't. The word came out more desperate than I intended. I mean, stay. Come to the park with us, if you want. Are you sure? Erica said be careful about public appearances at major events. She didn't say you couldn't exist in our lives. I took his hand. Besides, the girls would be disappointed if you left. Just the girls? No, I admitted. Not just the girls. His smile was worth everything. Chapter 10. We spent the day at the park. Me, Daewon, and my daughters. It was blessedly normal. Nobody recognized us. No press, no cameras, just kids playing and parents watching. Oriana made friends with a little girl on the swings. Delphine found a stick and decided she was Moana with an oar. Daewon and I sat on a bench, close but not touching, watching them play. They're resilient, he observed. They are, but they're also 4. The full impact of everything hasn't hit yet. I watched Delphine chase a butterfly. Eventually they're going to have questions about their dad, about what happened, about why he's not here. And you'll answer them. Age-appropriately, honestly. You'll do what you always do, put them first. I'm terrified of screwing this up. You won't. How can you be so sure? He turned to look at me fully. Because you're already doing it right. You fought for them. You're here, you're present. That's what they need. My phone buzzed. A text from Sunhigh. Saw. The news! Calling you tonight. Also, my brother better be treating you right or I'm flying back to kick his ass. I showed Daewon. He laughed. She's protective of you. She should be. You did make it clear that you want more between us without asking her permission first. Right. Right? Daewon's expression grew serious. I meant what I said, about wanting to marry you. Someday, when you're ready. What if I'm never ready? Then I'll adjust my expectations. He paused. But Alyssa, I think you will be. Eventually, when you've figured out who you are without him, when you trust that this, he gestured between us, is real. How do I know it's real? How do I know I'm not just... I struggled for words. Confusing gratitude with something else? You won't know. Not yet. But one day you'll wake up and realize that what you feel for me has nothing to do with what I did for you, and everything to do with who I am, who we are together. God, I wanted to believe him. That night, after the girls were asleep, Daewon and I sat on my small balcony looking out at the city. He'd stayed for dinner again, Chinese takeout this time, helped with bath time, read bedtime stories. He was becoming part of our routine so seamlessly it scared me. Can I ask you something? I said. Always. The investigation, the 4 years of watching. Was there ever a moment when you thought about just approaching me? Before everything fell apart? Daewon was quiet for a long moment. Every day. Especially after I found evidence of Theo's fraud. I wanted to warn you. To tell you what he was. Why didn't you? Because you weren't ready to hear it. You would have defended him, maybe even told him I was investigating, and he would have destroyed the evidence. I had to wait until you saw it yourself. He looked at me. Does that make me manipulative? Maybe. But I convinced myself I was protecting you. Were you? Protecting me? Or were you just waiting for your chance? Both, he admitted. I was protecting you by gathering evidence in case you ever needed it. But I was also hoping that someday you'd need someone and I could be that someone. That's honest. I'm trying to be. Because Alyssa, if we're going to do this, whatever this is, we need honesty. You've had enough lies. I appreciated that more than he knew. Okay, my turn, Daewon said. Can I ask you something? Fair's fair. The night you left, when you got in my car, were you scared of me? I thought back to that moment, rain-soaked, broken, climbing into a stranger's Mercedes. No, I said honestly. I should have been, but I wasn't. I was just tired. And you looked at me like I mattered, like I was a person, not a problem. I needed that more than I needed safety. And now? Are you scared of me now? I turned to look at him. Yes, but not for the reasons you think. What reasons? I'm scared because you make me want things I didn't think I could have. Stability, partnership, someone who sees me. I took a breath. I'm scared because I'm falling for you and I don't know if it's real or if I'm just Alyssa. He cut me off gently. Stop. Stop analyzing every feeling. Stop questioning whether it's real. Just feel it. Whatever it is, and we'll figure out the rest later. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to just feel without thinking it to death. Then let me help. He stood up, held out his hand. Dance with me. What? Here, there's no music. We don't need music. He pulled me to my feet, positioned us in the tiny balcony space, one hand on my waist, the other holding my hand. This is ridiculous, I said, but I was smiling. Maybe. But when you're dancing, you can't overthink. You just move. He was right. As we swayed in the quiet night, the city humming below us, my racing thoughts slowed. I focused on the warmth of his hand on my waist, the solid presence of him, the way we fit together. Better? He asked softly. Better. We danced in silence for a few moments. Then Daewon spoke. I know you're not ready for everything, but Alyssa, can I ask you one thing? What? Can I kiss you? Not because I saved you, not because you're grateful, just because I want to, and I think you want to too. My breath caught. Daewon, if the answer is no, that's okay, I'll wait. But I need to know, is this thing between us just in my head? Or do you feel it too? I looked up at him, saw the vulnerability in his eyes, the hope mixed with fear of rejection. I feel it, I whispered. God help me, I feel it. Then let me kiss you, please. I should have said no, should have listened to Erica's warning about being careful, about not giving Theo ammunition. Instead, I said, okay. He cupped my face with both hands, gave me one more second to change my mind. I didn't. When his lips met mine, it wasn't desperate or hungry. It was tender. Questioning. A first kiss that felt like a promise. I kissed him back, my hands finding his chest, feeling his heartbeat under my palms. The kiss deepened slowly, his tongue brushing my bottom lip, and I opened for him. This was nothing like kissing Theo. This was... The balcony door slid open. Mommy? We jumped apart like teenagers caught by parents. Delphine stood in the doorway, rubbing her eyes. Baby, what's wrong? I was at her side immediately, kneeling down. I had a bad dream, about Daddy. He was yelling. My heart broke. Oh, sweetheart, come here. I scooped her up, and she wrapped her arms around my neck. Over her shoulder, I saw Daewon watching us with such tenderness it made my chest ache. "I should go," he mouthed. I shook my head. "Stay," I mouthed back. To Delphine, I said, "Let's get you back to bed. Do you want me to sing the song?" She nodded against my neck. I carried her to the purple room, laid her in bed, and sang the lullaby until her breathing evened out. When I came back out, Daewon was still there, sitting on the couch. "She okay?" he asked, quietly. "Nightmares. She's been having them since—" I trailed off, "since her father ripped her world apart. That's normal. Give her time." I sat beside him, close enough that our thighs touched. "I'm sorry about—" "Don't apologize. Your daughters come first. Always. I get that." Still, we were having a moment. We'll have other moments. He turned to look at me. "Alyssa, I need you to understand something. I'm not here for stolen kisses on balconies. I'm here for all of it. The nightmares and the pancakes, the custody battles and the park days, the messy, complicated, beautiful reality of your life. If that means we go slow, we go slow. If that means moments get interrupted by 4-year-olds, so be it." "You say that now. I say that always." He took my hand. "I'm not Theo. I'm not going to get bored when things get hard. I'm not going to resent your daughters for existing. I'm not going to make you choose between them and me. Because there is no choice. They're part of you. Loving you means loving them. Loving." He'd said it so casually, like it was a given. "Daewon, did you just—" "Yes." He didn't look away. "I love you. I have for a while. You don't have to say it back. I just need you to know." My heart was racing. That's a lot. I know. But I'm tired of pretending I don't feel what I feel. I love you. I love your strength, your creativity, your devotion to your daughters. I love how you rebuild yourself every time life knocks you down. I love the way you look at the world like it's full of possibilities instead of limitations." He paused. "And I love that you're scared. Because it means you're taking this seriously. That I matter enough to be scary." Tears were streaming down my face. I can't. I know. You're not there yet. That's okay." He wiped my tears with his thumbs. "But Alyssa, when you are ready, when you can say it back, I'll be here." I wanted to say it. Wanted to tell him that maybe I was falling for him too, that maybe this terrifying thing between us was real. But the words stuck in my throat. Instead, I kissed him again. Poured everything I couldn't say into the kiss. He understood, kissing me back with a tenderness that made me ache. When we finally broke apart, he rested his forehead against mine. "I should actually go this time," he said, "before we get interrupted again, or before I do something stupid like ask you to let me stay." "Would that be so stupid?" "Yes, because you're not ready for that either, and I want to do this right." He was right. Frustratingly, perfectly right. At the door, he kissed me one more time. Soft, sweet, full of promise. "Call me if you need anything, day or night. I mean it." "I will." "And Alyssa, what I said about loving you, I meant it. But there's no pressure, no expectations, just think about it." After he left, I stood in my quiet apartment, fingers touching my lips, trying to process everything. Daewon Han loved me. The man who'd investigated my husband for 4 years, who'd appeared in the rain, who'd given me everything without asking for anything in return, loved me. And the terrifying part? I was pretty sure I was falling in love with him too. Chapter 11. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm. Days were about the girls, establishing routines, helping them process everything, making our apartment feel like home. I enrolled them in a new preschool closer to my place. We went to therapy twice a week, individual sessions for each of them, plus family therapy for all 3 of us. Their therapist, Dr. Kim, was gentle but direct. "They're resilient. she told me after the third session. But they've experienced trauma. The sudden separation from their father, the upheaval, the move. It's a lot for 4-year-olds. Give them time, consistency, and love. That's what they need most. Nights were different. After the girls were asleep, Day One would come over. We'd talk for hours, about everything and nothing. About his company expansion plans, about my hotel designs, about our childhoods, our dreams, our fears. He never pushed. Never asked for more than I could give. Some nights we'd just sit on the couch, my head on his shoulder, his arm around me, watching terrible reality TV and making fun of it. Other nights we'd kiss until we were both breathless, hands wandering but never going too far. I'd pull back, overwhelmed, and he'd let me, every time. "I'm sorry," I'd say. "I'm not trying to tease you, I know. You're not ready. It's okay." "When will I be ready?" "When you stop asking that question." He was right. Again. The media frenzy eventually died down as new scandals took over the news cycle. Theo's trial date was set for 6 months out. His lawyer tried to negotiate bail, citing his ties to the community, but the prosecution argued flight risk given the soul tickets. He stayed in federal detention. Part of me felt guilty. Part of me felt relieved. Mostly, I just felt sad that it had come to this. 3 weeks after the custody ruling, I got a letter. It was from Theo, from federal detention. I almost threw it away without reading it, but curiosity won. "Alyssa, I don't expect forgiveness. I don't deserve it. But I need you to know something. When I said you became ugly after kids, I was lying. You didn't become ugly. You became powerful. And that terrified me. Before the girls, I could control you. Could make you believe you needed me. But after they were born, you had something that mattered more than me. And I couldn't stand it. So I tried to destroy it. Destroy you. Make you as small and powerless as I felt. I failed. You won. And I'm glad. Not for me. For Oriana and Delphine. They deserve a mother who fights. Who's strong. Who shows them they can be anything. I robbed them of that for too long. I'm going to prison. Probably for a very long time. And I deserve it. But before I go, I need to say this. You were never ugly. You were always extraordinary. I just couldn't handle it. Take care of our daughters. Teach them to be like you, not me. Theo P.S. I signed the divorce papers. I'm not fighting you anymore. They're being filed today. You're free. I read it 3 times, crying the whole time. Not because I still loved him, but because I finally saw him clearly. A broken man who'd tried to break me because he couldn't fix himself. I showed the letter to Daewon that night. He read it silently, then set it down. How do you feel? Sad. Not for us, for him. That he could never see that love doesn't require control. That partnership doesn't mean ownership. Are you going to write back? No, there's nothing left to say. I folded the letter carefully. But I'm going to keep this, for when the girls are older. So they understand their father wasn't a monster. He was just broken in ways he couldn't fix. Daewon pulled me close. You're incredibly compassionate. I'm just free, and free people can afford to be kind. 1 month after the custody ruling, I officially started work at Hansung Group. My first day was terrifying. I walked into the sleek midtown office building, rode the elevator to the 40th floor, and was greeted by a team of 5 junior designers who would be reporting to me. Ms. Moreau, the lead designer, a young Korean woman named Ji-Hai, said with a bow, "We're honored to work with you. Your portfolio is incredible." "Thank you, and please call me Alyssa." We spent the day reviewing the Manhattan Hotel project. My designs from those early sketches had been refined, digitized, rendered in stunning 3D. Seeing them come to life was surreal. "The cherry blossom installation," Ji-Hai said, pulling up the rendering. The engineering team says it's ambitious but doable. If we can secure the right materials, we can have it completed in 8 months. 8 months. 8 months, and my vision would be real. That night, I practically floated home. Day one was already there. I'd given him a key 2 weeks ago, making dinner with the girls. "Mommy!" Oriana ran to me. "Mr. Daywin is teaching us to make bulgogi." "Is that what smells so good?" "Wait until you taste it," Daewon said, looking up from the stove with a smile. "How was your first day?" "Amazing, surreal, terrifying." I dropped my bag, went to him, and without thinking, kissed him. Just a quick peck, but it felt natural. Right. The girls giggled. "Mommy kissed Mr. Daywin," Oriana sing-songed. I felt heat rush to my cheeks. "Yes, well, we're dating?" Delphine supplied helpfully, looking up from the vegetables she was helping cut with a plastic knife. "Yes," I said, deciding honesty was best. "Mr. Daywin and I are dating. Is that okay with you both?" "Does that mean he's your boyfriend?" Oriana asked. I looked at Daewin. We hadn't actually defined it. "If your mom wants me to be," he said carefully. "Do I get a say in this?" I asked, amused. "Always." "Then yes. Daewin is my boyfriend." The word felt strange, too casual for what we were, but it would do for now. Both girls cheered like we'd just announced Christmas. That night, after dinner, after baths, after bedtime stories, Daewin and I finally had time alone. "Boyfriend," he said, pulling me onto the couch beside him. "That's very official." "Too official?" "Not official enough, but it's a start." We were getting better at this, the casual intimacy, the comfort of being together. He'd taken to keeping clothes at my place. I had a toothbrush at his penthouse even though I'd never stayed over. We were building something. Slowly, carefully, but real. "Can I ask you something?" I said, hurled into his side. "Always." "Do you ever regret it? Waiting 4 years for someone you barely knew? Investigating my husband? Getting involved in all this mess?" Daewin was quiet for a moment, his hand tracing patterns on my arm. "Never," he finally said. "Not even for a second. Because Alyssa, every moment of those 4 years led to this. To you and me on this couch. To your daughters calling me Mr. Daewin and teaching me about Moana. To getting to watch you bloom into who you were always meant to be." He tilted my chin up to look at him. "I'd wait another 4 years if that's what it took." "You won't have to wait that long." "For what?" I took a breath. This was terrifying but necessary. For me to say it back. That I love you. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting close. And I need you to know. It's not gratitude. It's not rescue. It's just you. Who you are. How you make me feel. How you treat my daughters. How you see me. His eyes went soft. "Alyssa." "I'm not saying it tonight. Not yet. But soon. And I wanted you to know it's coming." He kissed me then, deep and thorough, and I let myself get lost in it. We made out on my couch like teenagers until we were both breathing hard, and I had to pull back before we crossed a line I wasn't ready for. "Soon?" he asked, breathing hard, forehead against mine. "Soon," I promised. Chapter 12. 2 months after the custody ruling, Veronique had her baby. She called me from the hospital. "I know this is weird," she said, sounding exhausted. "But I don't have anyone else. My family disowned me when they found out about the affair. Theo's obviously out of the picture, and I thought, maybe..." "I'll be there," I said. "Give me an hour." Daewon insisted on coming with me, and we left the girls with Sun Hai, who'd come back from Paris for an extended stay. At the hospital, Veronique looked small in the bed, holding a tiny baby girl wrapped in pink. "She's beautiful," I said, meaning it. Her name is Hope. Veronique's eyes filled with tears. Because you gave me hope that I could be better, that I could leave, that I could protect her. I sat beside the bed. You did that yourself. No, you showed me it was possible. She looked down at her daughter. I'm going to raise her differently. She's never going to think she has to shrink herself to fit someone else's expectations. She's never going to settle for scraps because she thinks that's all she deserves. That's all any of us can do. Break the cycle. We stayed for an hour, helping Veronique with the baby, bringing her food from the cafeteria. When we left, she grabbed my hand. Thank you. For everything. For not hating me. For being kind when I didn't deserve it. We all deserve kindness, I said, even when we've made mistakes. In the car, Daewon said, that was gracious of you. She helped me win custody. The least I could do was show up for her. It's more than that. You could have held a grudge. Most people would have. I spent 7 years of my life being bitter and small. I'm done with that. I looked at him. Life's too short for grudges. I'd rather focus on building something good. Like us. Like us. 3 months after the custody ruling, the hotel construction was ahead of schedule. My cherry blossom installation was being fabricated in Korea and would arrive in 4 weeks. I was at the construction site daily, overseeing every detail. Ji-hai and the team were brilliant, translating my vision into reality with precision and care. One night, after a long day on site, Daewon surprised me. Pack a bag, he said when he picked me up. We're going away for the weekend. What? I can't just... The girls are spending the weekend with Sunhai. I already arranged it. She's thrilled. Daewon, Alyssa, you've been working nonstop for 3 months. You're exhausted. You need a break. So we're taking one. Just you and me. No work, no stress, just... us. I should have protested more. But the idea of 48 hours of just us was too tempting. Where are we going? You'll see. He took me to a cabin in the Catskills, secluded, beautiful, surrounded by trees in their fall glory. The cabin was small but perfect. Fireplace, huge bed, a kitchen stocked with everything we'd need. How did you... I have people. He grinned. Now go change. There's a hiking trail I want to show you before it gets dark. The hike was perfect. The fall air was crisp, the leaves vibrant reds and golds. We walked hand in hand, talking about everything and nothing. At the summit, overlooking the valley, Daewon stopped. I need to tell you something, he said. My heart jumped. Okay. When I brought you here, I had a plan. I was going to make this big romantic gesture. Dinner, wine, probably some embarrassing speech about how you've changed my life. He smiled. But standing here with you, I realize I don't need all that. I just need to say this. Thank you. For what? For letting me in. For trusting me when you had every reason not to. For giving me a chance even though I came into your life in the creepiest possible way. He cupped my face. For being brave enough to build something new instead of hiding in what's safe. Daewon, I love you. I know I've said it before, but I need you to hear it again. I love you, not who you could be, not who you were. Just who you are right now. Messy and scared and rebuilding. That's who I love. Tears were streaming down my face. And I know you're not ready to say it back. That's okay. I'm not saying it so you'll say it back. I'm saying it because it's true. What if... My voice broke. What if I'm ready now? He went still. What? What if I'm ready to say it? Because Daewon, I love you too. His eyes widened. You... What? I love you. I'm terrified and I don't know what I'm doing and I'm probably going to screw this up somehow. But I love you. You're kind and patient, and you see me and you make me want to be brave, and he kissed me, cutting off my rambling. This kiss was different from all the others. It was celebration, relief, joy. When we finally broke apart, both of us crying, he laughed. Say it again. I love you. Again. I love you, Daewon Han. I'm never going to get tired of hearing that. That night in the cabin, everything changed. We made dinner together, talking and laughing. We sat by the fire drinking wine. And when he kissed me, when I kissed him back, I didn't pull away. Are you sure? We don't have to. I'm sure. I want this. I want you. Alyssa. Daewon, I've spent 3 months terrified of this. Terrified of giving you everything and having it not be enough. But I'm done being afraid. I love you, I trust you, and I want you, please. We made love. He worshipped every inch of me, every scar Theo had made me hate, every curve I'd apologized for. He made me feel beautiful. After lying in his arms, I felt something I hadn't felt in years. Safe. Loved. Whole. I love you, I whispered into the dark. I love you too, he whispered back. Forever. Chapter 13. 6 months after the custody ruling, my life was unrecognizable. The Manhattan Hansong was weeks from opening. My cherry blossom installation was complete, and it was even more beautiful than I'd imagined. Press was calling it the most innovative hotel design in a decade. Oriana and Delphine were thriving. They still had hard days, nightmares about their father, questions about why he couldn't be with them. But they were healing. Dr. Kim said they were making remarkable progress. Theo's trial had concluded the previous month. He'd been sentenced to 8 years in federal prison. I'd been offered the chance to give a victim impact statement, but declined. There was nothing left to say. The divorce was finalized. I was Alyssa Moreau again, officially. No more Mrs. Park. And Daewon. Daewon was everything. We hadn't moved in together. I wanted the girls to have stability in one place for a while longer. But he was at our apartment most nights. The girls called him Uncle Daewon, officially now. Though Oriana had started occasionally calling him Daddy Daewon when she forgot. Each time she did, Daewon's eyes would get suspiciously bright. The grand opening gala for the Hansong Manhattan was scheduled for Friday night. Black tie, press everywhere, the design community's biggest names in attendance. I was terrified. What if they hate it? I asked Daewon the night before, pacing our apartment. They won't hate it. It's brilliant. What if I'm a one-hit wonder? What if this is the peak and it's all downhill from here? He caught me mid-pace, pulled me close. Then we'll deal with it. But Alyssa, tomorrow night is going to be incredible. You've created something extraordinary. Trust yourself. The night of the gala, I wore a baby pink dress. Simone had done my hair and makeup, celebrating every feature Theo had made me hide. When I walked into the lobby I'd designed, I wanted to cry. It was perfect. The cherry blossoms caught the light, creating shadows that danced across the walls. The traditional Korean elements blended seamlessly with modern luxury. People gasped as they entered. Mommy! Oriana's voice cut through the crowd. I turned to see my daughters, both in matching purple and yellow dresses, holding Sun Hai's hands, being led toward me by Daewon. What are you doing here? You're supposed to be at home. Uncle Daewon said we should see what Mommy made, Delphine said seriously. He said it's important. Daewon shrugged, not apologetic. They should see their mother's triumph. They're part of this too. My heart did that complicated thing again. The evening was a blur. Press interviews, congratulations from people I'd admired for years, job offers for other projects. Everyone wanted to know about the designer who rebuilt her life and career after a devastating divorce. I handled it with grace I didn't know I had. Around 9 p.m., after the girls had been taken home by Sun High, Daewon found me on the rooftop, terrace overlooking the city. "You disappeared," he said. "Needed air. Needed a minute to process." He came to stand beside me at the railing. "You did it. Look at this." He gestured to the hotel below. "You created this. You. We created this. I couldn't have done it without your company, your resources, My resources and company don't mean anything without vision. And the vision was yours." He turned me to face him. "Alyssa, I need to tell you something." "Why do I feel like this is a big something?" "Because it is." He reached into his jacket pocket. My heart stopped. I wasn't going to do this tonight. I was going to wait. But standing here with you, after watching you own your success, after seeing you become who you were always meant to be, I can't wait anymore. He pulled out a ring box. "Daewon, let me say this. Please." He took a breath. 4 years ago, I met a woman at a wedding. We talked for 20 minutes about design and architecture and the space between things. And in those 20 minutes, I knew I'd met someone extraordinary. He opened the box. The ring inside was stunning, a sapphire surrounded by diamonds. I spent 4 years watching you from a distance, waiting for the day you'd see what I saw. And then you did. You left him. You fought for your daughters. You fought for yourself. You became the person you were always meant to be. He got down on one knee. People were starting to notice. The rooftop was clearing, giving us space, but I could feel eyes on us. "Alyssa Moreau, you are the strongest, most brilliant, most beautiful person I have ever known. You make me want to be better. You make me believe in possibility. You make me feel like the luckiest man alive just by letting me stand beside you." Tears were streaming down my face. I love you. I love Oriana. I love Delphine. I love our messy, beautiful, complicated life, and I want to make it official. I want to be your partner, your husband, your teammate. I want to build a life with you, not because you need me, but because we choose each other. He held up the ring. "Will you marry me? For real this time. Not in a courtroom, not as a panic move, but because we love each other and want a future together?" I looked at him. This man who'd appeared in the rain, who'd waited patiently, who'd loved me through my messiest moments. "Yes," I said, voice breaking. "Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes." He stood, slid the ring on my finger, and kissed me as the rooftop erupted in applause. When we broke apart, both crying, I laughed. "The girls are going to lose their minds." "I already asked their permission," he admitted. "You what?" "Last week, I sat them down and told them I wanted to marry their mommy and be part of their family. Asked if that was okay with them." "What did they say?" "Oriana said, 'Finally!' And Delphine said, 'Does that mean you'll teach us more Korean?' So I'm taking that as a yes." I laughed through tears, loving him more than I thought possible. "When?" I asked. "When what?" "When do you want to get married?" "Tomorrow?" He was only half joking. "How about we wait until after your fraud trial is over?" I teased. "That's Theo's fraud trial. I'm squeaky clean." "Still, let's give it a few months. Let the girls adjust. Plan something beautiful. Whatever you want, as long as at the end of it you're my wife." Wife? The word didn't scare me anymore. They tell you that after kids everything changes. And they're right. But they don't tell you that sometimes change is the best thing that ever happened to you. That losing everything can be the first step to gaining yourself. That ugly is just what people call you when you stop shrinking to fit their world. My ex-husband said I became ugly after kids. He was wrong. I became free. I became myself. I became loved. And freedom? Self-love? Real love? Those are the most beautiful things I've ever worn. So, what did you think? Did Alyssa's journey make you cry? Did you root for her every step of the way? And day one, was he the perfect book boyfriend or what? That proposal, though, let me know in the comments. Which moment hit you the hardest? The FBI arrest in the courtroom? When Daewon said I love you for the first time? That letter from Theo? Are you Team Alyssa or Team I would have handled Theo differently? And the real question, would you have said yes to Daewon's proposal? If this story touched your heart, do me 3 favors. Smash that like button. Let's get this to 10,000 likes and show everyone that stories about Black women winning matter. Drop a comment telling me your favorite scene. Whether you cried, be honest. If you'd take a chance on a man who waited 4 years, share this video with a friend, and if you loved this story, hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications, because I have more stories coming. To every woman watching this, you are not ugly. You are not too much. You are not broken. You are not difficult. You are enough. You always were. The problem was never you. And just like Alyssa, you deserve someone who sees you, someone who waits for you, someone who chooses you every single day, someone who celebrates your strength instead of fearing it. Don't settle for less. Don't shrink yourself. Don't apologize for taking up space. You are beautiful exactly as you are. And freedom? Self-love? Choosing yourself. That's the most beautiful thing you'll ever wear.